திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஆடும் வரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனி யானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்து ஓதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவிய நீர்மலி வேணியன் அலைகள் சோதியன் அம்பலத்தாடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவான். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் மண்ணூர் ஆனாய் போற்றி, பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரனே போற்றி, சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி, அண்ணாமலையம் அண்ணா போற்றி, கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளே போற்றி, கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பரங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் சார்பாக பெரிய புராணத்தை, நாயன்மார்களுடைய வரலாற்றை ஆங்கிலத்திலே தொடர்ந்து சிந்தித்து வருகின்ற அந்த ஒரு தொடரிலே இன்றைய தினம் நாம் சிந்திக்க இருக்கிற நாயன்மார் நமிநந்தி அடிகள் என்பது பற்றி சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. This program is being sponsored by Mrs. and Mrs. Saravanan from Qatar. They have taken the pains of giving out the episodes of Nayanmars in English so that people who may not be well versed in Tamil and who may not be having an exposure towards the Periya Puranam in Tamil, they may be given the opportunity of understanding and also following the honesty and sincerity and deep love of Nayanmars for Lord Sivakumar. So I have to appreciate them, and I pray Lord Shiva to bestow his best blessings on this couple and their family. Today we are going to see the history of Naminadhi Adigal, one of the 63 apostles of Periya Puranam. See, Nayanmars, they have their own principles in life, and the principle will be pertaining to the devotion to Lord Shiva. Some people may be interested in feeding Shivanadiyars. Some people may be interested to maintain the temples and other places relevant to Saivam, and some people may be interested to cater to the needs of Shivanadiyars. So it goes on like this, and these Adiyars, they have devoted their lives only for their principle. They have taken up for their mission, for their life as mission. So some of the Nayanmars would be growing flowers in gardens, and they will be offering flowers for pujas in temples, and some people will be interested to safeguard the interest of Nayanmars. Some people will be interested into light the lamps in temples. In those days there is no electricity. There was no electricity in those days. No electricity was there, and all the temples would be after 6 o'clock will be glowing only with oil lamps. So it was considered as a great devotion or a great service to light a lamp inside a temple during night time. The custom of lighting lamps in Shiva temple was considered and is now being considered as the greatest service of all services. So, in those days, some of the Nayanmars, some of the Adiyars, they would be devoting their full-fledged efforts to light the lamps in the temple. They will collect oil, they will collect the lamps and they will pour the oil, put the thread, and also they will light the lamps in the inside the temple so that enough light is available inside the temple for the devotees. So, likewise, the service for the Lord Shiva temple has been categorized in many ways. And what does it show actually? It shows that anybody can do any service which is adoptable for them, Let us not copy somebody, they have been feeding, so I should also feed the Adiyars, not necessarily. So, whatever is possible, you just render your service. The way in which you render the service with sincerity and with love is taken into account. Otherwise, whatever service you do it with love, you do it with devotion to Lord Shiva. That is the main thing we have to look into. Otherwise, nothing is specified that this is the only service that you must do in a temple. It is not categorized like that. Do service whatever is possible for you, whatever is suitable for you, whatever is adaptable for you. You do that service. You take up that service, devote your time, devote your sources for rendering the service. So, if we go through the life histories of Nayanmars, we will be able to understand this basic thing. See, some people may be very poor. How can they do the service? They can go and physically they can clean the temple and they can wash, they can also wash the utensils in the temple. Likewise, some services they would be also able to render. So, people must understand that not any specific service is considered to be the supreme. All services are considered to be supreme if they are rendered with love. So, that has been taught in Periya Puranam by the Nayanmars. One Nayanmar will be very poor, another Nayanmar will be a king. The king will build temples, but the ordinary man, how can he go and build a temple? We know a Nayanmar who was trying to build a temple in K.Sivakumar district and was not successful. So, he decided to build the temple within his heart. So, by thoughts he built the temple and it was accepted by Lord Shiva. That Nayanmar is known as Vayilar Nayanar or Pusalar Nayanar. So, likewise, we must do some service, that is important. Any type of service relevant to the Shiva Puja, Shiva temple, Shiva Adiyars, relevant to. So, do any service, render any service, whatever possible service, in whatever way. It does not mean that it should involve heavy, huge expenditures. See, you do it with great sincerity and love. That's the requirements. Today we are going to see one Nayanmar who was lighting lamps in Tiruvarur temple. There was a village near Tiruvarur known as Yemaperur. If I am correct, the Yemaperur was at a distance of about 9 miles or about 12 kilometers, if I am correct, or less than that. In Yemapurur, the prominent community that was living there was Brahmin community, and they were all pious and learned people. They were well versed in Vedas, and they used to do yajnas every day in their yagakundams, and their spouses were very cooperative and rendering all services to their husbands for successfully safeguarding the teachings of Vedas. So the main thing that was going on in Yemaperur was performing yajnas, pujas, that was there. But in that community, our Nayanmar was one of them, Naminadhi Adigal. Naminadhi Adigal. It should be Nambi Nandi, but some or other it has gone to a shape of Naminadhi Adigal. Naminadhi Adigal, he was belonging to that community, and he was doing these Veda Yajnas and other rituals specified in Veda. The whole town was very flourishing. The whole village was surrounded by paddy fields, sugarcane fields, and gardens, and people were living a pious and peaceful life. See, what we infer from Naminadhi Adigal is Naminadhi Adigal used to go to Tiruvarur from Yemaperur. If at all there was a Shiva temple in Yemaperur, apart from his daily rituals, he might have devoted his service to that Shiva temple, and once in a while he might have gone to Tiruvarur. But what we infer is he wanted to do some service for Shiva temple, and he preferred to go to Tiruvarur now and then, because it is away from Yemaperur at about 12 kilometers. So he would be completing his rituals every day, and he would be visiting Tiruvarur whenever he wanted to do. And when he came over here, he rendered some service, physical service to that temple. He would be cleaning or some other things. Those things may not be clear, but he might have rendered some services. Inside Tiruvarur temple, there are some temples even now inside the Tiruvarur temple as subsets. Some temples you may find within the complex of Tiruvarur. Within the complex of Tiruvarur, you will find some temples. One of the temples known as Tiruvarur Araneri. Tiruvarur Araneri. it is a separate temple. It has padigams, separate padigams apart from Tiruvarur. Once upon a time, when he visited Tiruvarur temple, he went into the Tiruvarur Araneri temple and did some service there. And he found that not enough lamps were there, and so he wanted to light some lamps inside the temple. Tiruvarur was having a lot of lights. The people were coming in and they were lighting lamps. Tiruvarur was lit by enough lamps, but this Araneri, a small temple, a subset temple, might not have been doing so nicely without lights. So he wanted to put some lights over there. He inspected that. Lamps were there, threads were there, but no ghee was there. So he was looking for oil, and he was not able to get oil. You may think that he could have gone to a shop and purchased, but we do not know whether he had money or not. Instead, he preferred to get the oil from a house near the temple, because people will be under the impression that houses near the temple will be very devotional. They will be having affection over the temple. All those things the people will imagine. Likewise, he also imagined, since the house was situated near the temple, he thought of entering the house and asking for oil for the lamp. So he entered the house and asked the man found there, can you give some oil for lighting the lamp in the temple? I am having this lamp and thread, but oil is not available. Can you give me some oil? Because the temple is not having enough light. So please give some oil, he asked. I think it was a little late after sunset, it must be. So the Nayanmar, Naminadhi Adigal, was not able to look at that fellow clearly. If he would have looked at him, he would have found that he was not smearing any vibhuti on his forehead, and by the way he was looking, he might have found that that fellow was an anti-Saivat. He might have found. Somehow or other he was not able to detect that, and he innocently asked him to give some oil for the lamp. That fellow, being a summoned monk, that fellow, instead of refusing it gently, I am not interested, go away, he might have told. But that fellow, he showed his cruelty, he showed his rough attitude. That fellow told mockingly, sarcastically, slightly laughing, that fellow told, oh, you want to light lamp for your Lord Shiva? Why do you need a light for him? He was already holding a fire on his hand. Won't that light be enough for him, for his temple? Why do you go and beg for oil everywhere? Your master is having already the fire on his hand. If at all you are very interested to light the lamp with oil, you can go to the temple tank, get some water, pour it on the lamp and light it. Go away, he said. Nayanar was taken aback. He didn't expect to face a summoned monk eye to eye. He didn't expect it. He was not prepared. Just like that, he was facing that fellow, and that fellow uttered severe, cruel words which upset our Nayanar. Our Nayanar felt so much disgusted, felt depressed, and he came back without giving him a reply. He didn't further go in search of oil. When he received that comment, he stopped his search and went back to the temple. When he entered and stood before Lord Shiva, the tears were running down his cheek, and he was weeping and crying, "Oh my Lord, I brought defaming for you by going and asking for oil to a summoned monk. Unnecessarily, he passed drastic comments about you. I was the reason to draw such comments. I was so careless to bring this defamation to you. I do not know what to do. I am feeling shameful. I am actless. Suddenly all my services found to be of no value because of a scolding from a summoned monk." And he was saying all these words and praying. He just prostrated before the Lord Shiva. At that time, he heard a voice from the sky. "Oh, why do you worry about it? Leave away all your worries. What that fellow told is truth. You can light a lamp with water. That capacity he had found and indicated. You have that capacity. If you light a lamp with water, it will glow. See it for yourself." He has told rightly. Go to the temple tank, get some water, pour it on the lamps and light them. When he heard this voice, he suddenly rose up and he was wondering whether I heard it right or not. What a wonderful thing I have received. See, God has indicated this time. As a matter of fact, he had given a note to Naminadhi Adigal. Naminadhi Adigal was having a special characteristic that was indicated by David Chekura. See, he would be performing the pujas every day at midday and midnight. He would be doing the puja at about 12 o'clock, not at about 12, exactly at 12 o'clock when the sun comes at the summit. When the sun comes at the crest, at the top point at 12 o'clock, he would be doing the puja. Likewise, in the midnight, at about 12 o'clock, he would be doing another puja. Those two pujas, he would be continuously doing it. When he was doing these two pujas, he had achieved the great, what can we call is a gift given by Lord Shiva, that he can light a lamp. Ahapusai. See, when he was performing the puja at midnight and when he was performing a puja at midday, one is about the external, another is about the internal. So, external, internal, the midday puja, all the three will be in one line: the body, the soul and Lord Shiva. It will be in one line: body, soul and Lord Shiva. This will be the order in which it will be aligned for midday puja. For midnight puja, it will be just reciprocal: Lord Shiva, soul and body. Body would be getting into the soul, soul would be getting into the Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva will be dominating. So, when he was doing that midnight puja, he would be visualizing Lord Shiva in the form of flame, light, Sodhi. Adiyum andamum illa arumberum Sodhi. He would be visualizing and he would be doing the prayers only for that light. So, David Chekudar was saying when he was explaining in Naminadhi Adigal, Yama iravum pagalum unarvu ஒழியா இன்பம் எய்தினார். Yama iravum pagalum, midday and midnight. This point should be noted down, the very accurate and very important and very important aspect of our Nayanmar. He was having that special capacity. So, during that time, after the puja over at 12 o'clock, he would be coming over to Tiruvarur. So, he would be reaching at about 4 o'clock or 4:30. He would be reaching Tiruvarur, because about 10 to 12 kilometers, 2.5 hours, it will be running walking time, say 3 hours. He would be walking 3 hours from Yemaperur to Tiruvarur. He would be rendering some services, and after lighting the lamps, after it is getting dark, after the sunset, after lighting the lamps, he would be starting from the temple to Yemaperur, Tiruvarur to Yemaperur. Again he would be coming to Yemaperur and he would be doing the midnight puja. Midnight puja he would be doing it, and after that he would be going to sleep. Next day morning he would be getting up and he would be doing the puja only at midday. So that was the customary followed by Naminadhi Adigal. He, as a matter of fact, he is a type of pujas are of special type, definitely. That is why he was having a special capacity of lighting a lamp with water. So when he heard that voice from the space, from the sky, he immediately understood that God has instructed him to light the lamps with a temple tank water. So without saying, he just stacked, he was putting all the lamps in an array. He was putting thread for all the lamps, and by the time he was crying and doing, people gathered there, and everybody was looking at him. Without oil, what is he going to do? He is just putting them in an array, and they were looking at him. He then proceeded towards the temple tower, Kamalalayam, collected water in a jug and brought it to the place where the lamps were put in an array, and he was pouring the water in all the lamps. Then he started lighting the lamps. To everybody's wonder, the lamps are glittering and lighting, glowing, as if they have been poured with ghee. They were emitting beautiful lights, and our Nayanar was very delighted and felt very happy and took the lamps to the temple inside, and the whole temple, Tiruvarur Araneri, a small temple within Tiruvarur temple. If at all you have a chance to go to Tiruvarur, you go over there also, Tiruvarur Araneri. He went inside and put all the lamps, and Deva Chakra says all the lamps were glowing all the night. See, sometimes the oil the lamp should be empty of oil, isn't it? It didn't happen. The whole night it was glowing. Everybody was wondering at the feet, what is this? He was lighting the lamps with water. Why don't we do it? Some might have tried. Say they might have taken a pot, they might have gone to the tank, they might have taken some water, and they might have also tried, but in vain. How can it glow? It glows only because of the penance of our Nayanar. See, because of his service, God has given him that effect, because of his puja, because of his performance of pujas regularly and throughout his career, he was gifted with this special gift. So all the summoned monks looking at it, they are bewildered. They were running here and there. They didn't want to get in the sight of civets. They just vacated the place, and everybody saw the greatness of Nayanar and also the greatness of Lord Shiva. So he was doing this service, And from that time onwards, he would be coming to Tiruvarur. He would be bringing lamps. He would be putting threads on the lamps, and he would be pouring the water from Tiruvarur temple tank, and he would be lighting all the lamps. The whole temple was lighted with enough and throwing lights by the lamps, which were glowing out of water. One thing you must understand, that this effect, this great skill or gift was given by Lord Shiva only to Nayanar, not to anybody else. Nobody can do like that. Nobody can go and bring the water and light the lamp. It's not possible. So, it was a special skill shown by Lord Shiva's devotee. So, from the time onwards, he used to visit Tiruvarur Araneri, and he was doing this service for a long time. See, in Tiruvarur, the main deity, Tyagaraja, he used to during an year, one time the deity would be coming to a small village called Manali near Tiruvarur. He would be coming out of the temple. So that day, so it was a special day, and Tyagaraja would be coming out of temple and would be going to Manali. Some tradition they were following, and since he was coming to Manali, people from all the towns, villages all around, they would be swarming in, and they would be worshipping Tyagaraja, and they would be very much happy to see him near their place. So, the whole Manali would be glamorous during that period. And see, when he comes to public, no segregation of the devotees, isn't it? All sects of people, all sectors, all sects of people would be there. Everybody will be paying their respect in whatever possible way they know. All people may not be well versed with all the rituals, but still they have the rights to worship Tyagaraja and to pay their worship, to pay their puja, to have a sight of him, to have a glimpse of him, and they would be also feeling happy. So, since it was considered to be a special visit of Tyagaraja to Manali, everybody would be going there, as I already said, to have a glimpse of him. Our Nayanar also went over there. Within the different sects of people, he was one among them. Within the crowd, in the total crowd, he was there, and he had a vision of Lord Tyagaraja. He was feeling very happy, he felt very happy, he worshipped, he prostrated before him, and along with the other people, he paid his puja, and he did his puja and returned to Yamaperur. When he came to Yamaperur, it was late. As we already know, our Nayanar used to do a puja at midnight. Only after midnight puja, he would be taking something and he would be going to bed. Likewise, on that day also, After Manali visit, he came to the house. He didn't enter the house and he was waiting outside on the entrance itself, and he sat over there on the small platform there, and he didn't enter, and his wife was calling him, why don't you come in? Why don't you come in and perform the puja? Let's go to bed. She was inviting him. But at that time he told her, no, I was there in Manali to have darshan of Tyagaraja. I was amongst the crowd. I was in the crowd. I was in the crowd, but we cannot gauge the people over there. Some people may not be. What we can say is may not be that much of purity. That much of purity. So the purity might have been affected because I was in the crowd. So before doing a puja, I have to take a bath. So why don't you get me some hot water? He was asking. And she accepted and she started warming some water, and he was waiting to take a shower and then to enter the house because the chastity and the purity should not defile, isn't it? So he was waiting. At that time, some or other he felt tired and he dozed. In the small sleep, he had a dream. A strange dream wherein Thiruvarur Tyagaraja appeared and told him that he would be having a special vision tomorrow morning when he would be coming to Thiruvarur. Tomorrow you would be having a strange vision at Thiruvarur. Come to Thiruvarur tomorrow. Saying that it disappeared. So he was awaking, and when he was waking up, he thought, why God has asked us to come to Thiruvarur and have a special vision? And he was wondering. So he was waiting for the moment to go to Thiruvarur next day. Likewise, he went over to Thiruvarur. When he was entering the border, he had a special, strange vision. Wherever he looks, everybody was looking like a Sivagana. All people, all living things, everything was a Sivagana with a glittering and bluish the people would be saying that Neelakandam. So glittering and glowing throats. He was looking at all the people. They were looking like Sivaganas. All Sivaganas would be having the same appearance of Lord Shiva. They would be having a sulam, and they would be having this blue throat, all these things, all these symptoms were there on Sivagana. Without any differentiation, all people were looking alike Sivagana. He just prostrated before them. And he understood that it was wrong on his side to doubt the chastity or the purity of the people belonging to Thiruvarur. So as far as Tiruvarur is concerned, whoever born in Tiruvarur, all of them are Sivanadiyars and Sivaganas. திருவாரூர் பிறக்க முக்தி, திருவாரூர் பிறந்தார்கள் எல்லாருக்கும் அடியேன். That's why Sundaramurti Swamigal used to recite in Tiruttonda Togai like this. திருவாரூர் பிறந்தார்கள் எல்லாருக்கும் அடியேன். So the Nayanar came to understand that as far as Tiruvarur is concerned, there is no sect of the Adiyars. This Adiyar is pure, this Adiyar is chasteful, this Adiyar is less chasteful, this Adiyar is less. No, not at all. If they are born in Tiruvarur, they are all Sivaganas. So he understood, and he also realized his mistake, last night mistake. He was thinking that his chastity has been less dignified because of his presence amidst the crowd full of people. But all those people are devotees, all of them are belong to Tiruvarur. So as far as Tiruvarur is concerned, everybody who was born there was a devotee, a Sivagana, he understood. So it was taught by Lord Shiva to him, and he understood that, and he prostrated and prayed that he should be forgiven for his ignorance of not realizing the oneness of the devotees of the Lord Shiva. As he rose, he found all the citizens were reverting to the original shape, and everybody was normal. So it was a special scene shown by Lord Shiva to our Nayanar. So as far as Sivanadiyar is concerned, no segregation. All are Sivanadiyars, all are equal, and Sivanadiyars, we should not discriminate between Sivanadiyars. Whoever wearing or whoever smearing their forehead with a vibhuti and rudrakshas, we must pay the devotion as if they are Lord Shiva, Sivaganas. So that was the teaching he received. Naminadhi Adigal then continued his service to Tiruvarur temple and also to Tiruvarur Araneri, and he from that time onwards he rendered services to the Sivanadiyars also for many years. So wondering his services, Tirunavukarasar is naming him in his Devaram. See, to find a place in Devaram is not a small thing. It's not easy. So a Nayanar is specifically mentioned by Tirunavukarasar or Tirunjana Sambandar or Sundaran, means they are very great. Likewise, Tirunavukarasar has mentioned Naminadhi Adigal in his Devaram. So it was a remarkable thing that we must take into the note, and he was saying that Naminadhi Adigal as Adiyarku Urai Ani, the golden anchor, Pon Uraikkum Ani, that is a golden anchor. That was the name given by Tirunavukarasar for Naminadhi Adigal. This we are just closing down the episode of Naminadhi Adigal with this, and we must understand from his episode, from his story, that we must not differentiate or discriminate between the Sivanadiyars, and we must also be very firm in our love, and we must be rendering our possible service to the temple. Lord Shiva would be very happy only at our service. So we must be looking for the opportunity to render our service in any possible and adaptable way. And from the next episode, we are going to start Triyana Sambandha Nayanar Puranam. It will be running for some months, and I am very happy to announce that from next week onwards, we are going to see the episodes of Triyana Sambandha. And we have, Jnanathiral has released 2 books. One, Tirunavukarasar in comics. The whole story of Tirunavukarasar have been given in beautiful pictures. So children would be very delighted to go through the life history of Tirunavukarasar by comics. They would be given the life history and also the teachings of Tirunavukarasar through this book. So purchase this book, gift it to your children, and also you can give them to other children also. If you are interested, you just contact some schools. Interested schools, you can purchase for them, and you can also donate them. I am requesting you to take efforts to get these books to the children fast. This is another way of taking Saivism to our younger generation. We already have Triyana Sambandha comics book in English, that also you can purchase. And one more thing, we have released a book on Tiruvasagam. We have rearranged the 51 Padihams as per his life history, and we have dug out a life history out of his Tiruvasagam, and based on that life history, we have arranged the 51 sonnets in an order, and this effort was taken by Jnanathiral and Kamalavana Satsangam. You can get the book through post also. The contact number has been given, and you can get these books also. And I also request you to subscribe to Jnanathiral, and also guide some of your friends and people to subscribe to Jnanathiral. You can also subscribe to Jnanathiral on their behalf and gift them to the people. In this way also we can take the teachings of Devaram and other things to the people. And visit our website, Facebook, and we are updating with all the details. And I have to specially thank Mr. Saravanan Kattar, who is taking all efforts to update our website. With this, I am just closing down this episode, and before we come to the end, I will be uttering the 5-lettered mantra 5 times. I request you to kindly follow me. Tiruchitrambalam. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Tiruchitrambalam. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, ஏகம்பத்துரையந்தாய் போற்றி, பாகம் வெண்ணுரு ஆனாய் போற்றி, பராய்த்துறை மேவிய பரணே போற்றி, சிராப்பள்ளி மேவிய சிவனே போற்றி, அண்ணாமலையம் அண்ணா போற்றி, கண்ணாரமுத கடலே போற்றி, காவாய் கனகத்திரளையே போற்றி, கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.